Hello everybody. The stream might be back. It might be back on the stream, but it might not be back with John yet, because I have the stream back. We're just working on that. Sorry about that. We had a slight technical issue. We may be able to get back in the stream in just a moment. I don't currently have Jonathan, but that's mostly because I'm just having a little bit of an issue with the audio. We'll see if we can sort that out. And hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome. I hope we're all having a lovely time. That went well, didn't it? How is everybody? Are you having a good time? Sorry about that, we had a slight technical issue. Oh, there we go, that's my audio coming through there. We may be able to get back in the stream in just a moment. I don't currently have Jonathan. How is everybody? Whoa. That's mostly because I'm just having a little bit Hello, enjoy the multiple audio. Oh, there we go. That's what we're listening to. You're getting some double audio there. Hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome. I hope you're having a good time. I've got the stream back a little bit. We had some issue there. I'm not quite sure what was going on. I'm now just trying to get John's audio back. And we'll see what happens. So I just need to restart Discord and hope that's working. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. I'm sorry about that. What seemed to happen there, which is a little bit weird, was my Windows 10 suddenly decided to turn on the firewall and block all my outgoing connections. I guess. I'm not quite sure why it decided to do that, but it did, which was good. The stream seems to be working now. It's just now a case of seeing if I can get it to connect Discord to the audio room, which it's not currently doing. At the moment, it's just trying to get me back and forth, get a little bit of audio. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. I can see you guys in the chat. Welcome. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Enjoy. Welcome, welcome, and all those things. I don't know how much we'll be able to get back into the show. I can really hope. I can really hope it's working. At the moment, it's just me. I'm doing some technical stuff, but I got the stream going again. And, yeah. So I see John is in the room with me, but I don't think he can hear anything. Basically, it's telling me I'm currently connecting to a Discord room that's not working. So something just happened. It just seemed to cut down all the outward connections, so we couldn't get the stream working again, which is deeply worrying. But maybe, just maybe, I'll actually get this working and properly working in a moment. I could actually always hear John. I'm actually gonna call John directly on Discord and see if that works. And we'll see if that works. I think that's working now, so we'll try it. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome.
Hello?
Hello, John. How you doing?
Hey!
I didn't realize Discord had direct calls, but it does. We should use this.
Oh,
It might work better. Hopefully,
yeah, actually.
in theory, people can hear you now. Again.
Okay.
So what happened is, it looks like my Windows firewall decided to come on with everything turned way off. Like, no, nothing is allowed through. And I don't know what triggered it. But,
okay.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay, do we want to restart?
Well, it was worth checking to see if we could get going again. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about, Jonathan? I don't know.
I did want to go over Patrick's book real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it. I'll
Okay.
let you chit chat.
Okay.
And I'll keep keeping up on things.
Are we live now?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh shit.
Hi, John.
Hello, everyone.
Thank God you didn't say anything racist again. Whew.
Whew.
John doesn't say racist.
Yeah, because some people in the chat said that it showed offline. The stream was offline.
Oh yeah, the stream completely went down. It killed OBS and Discord.
Okay. All right, so
good.
we're live again. Let's let me. Yeah. Okay, we're back.
A dinosaur story.
So yeah, there's one last topic I wanted to go over, and it was this book that I read a couple weeks ago. I finished it up, and I think we had talked about it previously. It's a book called Some Hell by author Patrick Nathan. Now, really, the only reason that I purchased this book was because I think, as me and Owen have mentioned before, that we have a very, I guess I would say thin, very long, thin connection to the author. In the sense that the same writing forum that me and Owen met and became friends over, this author was also a part of. And out of nostalgic sake, and for me, I enjoyed to see that he had published a book, and I thought it would, it'd be nice to read it.
Yeah, I think I must have known Patrick a little bit better than you did, because I mean, I wouldn't say I knew him well in real life, but I'd say he and I were friends.
Okay.
We're not as close as we used to be, or have ever been that close, but we've always had a good, friendly relationship, I'd say, Patrick and I.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. Super Macho Man says, "Later, fellas. Talk to you later. Or talk to you." All right, yeah. Thanks for stopping by, and hope to see you around. So I read the book, and how do I explain this? Have you ever read a book or watched a movie where you can recognize that it's good and that there are things about it that you should like and be able to recognize as being well crafted, but for some reason it just doesn't connect with you at all?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. That's what happened with me reading this book. It is very well written. Patrick's use of language is great. His descriptions of actions happening are well done. The personification of the characters are
Hello?
along
the... Oh, this is still breaking off on this version. And there he went again.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing, John?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, I can hear you. So, everything about it was really well done. The problem being is that the plot of the book involves some very, very specific tragedies and situations that I just really don't have any context for in my own personal life. A large part of the book revolves around this son and his mother coming to terms and grasping with the fact that his father and her husband committed suicide. Now, there's some other things revolving around there that complicates the situation, but for simplicity's sake, the father killed himself. And while this has happened, the character of Colin, the son, is also coming to terms with, one, his own sexuality, the fact that he's gay, and kind of the pubescent feelings and desires, and trying to grapple with like his own morality about that.
Right.
Like, because a good portion of the book revolves around him feeling that the things that he's doing, the feelings he has, and the desires he has are wrong or evil somehow, and that he's being punished, or he should be punished, for having these feelings. And at the same time, the mother kind of becomes addicted to therapy, and she starts to have thoughts and feelings for her therapist. She's grappling and struggling with the idea that since her husband has passed, she starts to become attracted to other men, and whether or not that's good or not. And there's a lot going on in the book. The problem is, for me, none of it is 100% relatable in my own life.
Right.
And that kind of went through the whole book that way, where I was like, I know I should be enjoying this more than I am, but I'm failing to have any interest. And I felt kind of bad about that. So
would you have felt bad if you didn't know Patrick?
yeah, I think I would. Because, you know, like I said, I was able to recognize that it's a well-made book, or well-written book, I should say.
Well made. Good glue.
Yeah,
Solid paper.
It's sturdy. It's sturdy. I actually spilled the beer on it, and it held together perfectly. Now, that was my major issues with it, was just kind of on a personal level, having a lack of personal connection with the story I was reading. I do have an issue with the book that I feel goes beyond like my own personal feelings and experience. And so I'm gonna say right now, if what I've said at all interests you, you know, it's a tragic story. It's grounded in, you know, a humanity. It's not science fiction. It's not fantasy. It's, you know, it's literary fiction. And so if that interests you, go out and buy this book. It's called Some Hell by Patrick Nathan. All right. Because I'm about to spoil the ending right now. So here's your last chance.
Everybody brace yourselves.
Okay. Just so when we get to the end of the book, all right, Colin and his mother have decided to go on this trip to California. And a good portion of the later third of the book revolves around this road trip that they have taken together to California. Now, when they get to California, specifically LA, they, you know, things kind of come to a head for both of them. The mother, who for the life of me I cannot remember her name now, and I feel bad because she has a name. But the mother character, she comes out there and she meets this guy, and she has a really good time with him. Colin meets this person, this guy, who kind of shows him that, hey, you're okay, man. Like, it's okay to be gay. You know, these feelings are fine. You know, I'm going to take care of you, sort of thing, right? And we get towards the end of the book, and the book has an ending. It has an ending in the penultimate chapter, right? The chapter before the last, where both characters have kind of had a bit of a exchange with each other. They've individually come to terms with the things that have happened. You know, they don't necessarily think that everything's going to be sunshines and rainbows ahead of them, but there's a level of acceptance with the life that they have now and the life that they're going to lead, right? It's closure. They have closure in the penultimate chapter. The problem is that there is a final chapter where things just get batshit crazy. Okay, we we get to the end of this book, right? And
This is
there's
a literary technique we call Luke Cage season 2.
So we get to the end, and Colin goes to say goodbye to this guy that he has been hanging out with in LA, and explain to him, hey, I got to go back home, and kind of like a thank you. I wish I could stay, and we can be in love and whatnot, but I need to go home, right? I need to go home, face my life, and deal with things, right? Same thing. The mother goes to see this guy for the last time, explain to him, I need to go home. I have my family, my children. I need to take care of them, there, right? So Colin sees this guy, right? And the guy drugs him and then puts a cage on his dick and basically says, you're not going anywhere, you're mine, and is like convinced that they're playing out this sub-dom sort of relationship, and it's so out of left field because like he does drug this teenager, and for all intents and purposes, everything that we've seen of this other character, named Allie, has never shown any indication that.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, sorry.
Yay, you're back.
But there's no indication that he's that type of character. There's no foreshadowing. There's no little hints. Nothing really. He does a few things that seem kind of misguided in a way, but nothing necessarily sinister. And then we get this final chapter, and immediately he becomes like this deviant, like sex freak.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right? Yeah. Oh man, God, I remember my early 20s. Whew. But that happens, and then the mother is talking with this guy, and out of fucking nowhere, right? Okay, I will say there was a little foreshadowing about this, but in the very smallest amount. And the foreshadowing, I thought, could be easily misinterpreted as a function for the prose. If that's what I mean, like so there was like in the previous chapters there was like these tremors that happen, and the big point that is made in the book is that all this trash floats up to the surface of the ocean, and they make kind of a big deal. They make a lot of metaphors about it and whatnot. So that's kind of what that feels like. It doesn't feel like foreshadowing, only in retrospect. And so a giant earthquake happens in this last chapter, and in the process of this earthquake, a structure or this like obelisk thing falls on the guy that she was talking to and kills him dead, crushes his head open, right? And then cut to Colin, who is drugged in a cock cage, and he gets impaled by a bunch of rebarb and dies. Then cut back to the mother, who has now survived the earthquake, only to now watch a tidal wave come up out of the ocean and stretch over her. And that's how the book ends. Like, she's clearly about to get swallowed up by a tidal wave. And it's like, what? And what really gets me is that, like, one of the last lines in the book is the mother going, oh, thank God. Right? Like, now she's, like, really okay with this. Like, she's really happy about the fact that she's about to be swallowed up by a tidal wave, which, had the previous chapter not happened, would have made sense. But the previous chapter specifically ends on this idea of being okay with life, being okay with the good and the bad, and having to move forward. It's a specific thing that they point out in the prose. And then this last chapter happens, and it's just like, nah, fuck all that. Here we go. Kid gets drugged and impaled by rebar. Mother gets swallowed up, and she's super cool with it. And it comes out of left field so hard that it just left me reading this going, did I get the wrong version? Like, it literally feels like that was the ending to a previous version of this novel that somehow still managed to get put in there. You know? And it's just... I feel like that chapter wouldn't bother me had it not been the one before it, right? It's just a matter of either the second to last chapter or the last chapter. It was either or. But them both existing in the same book makes both of them feel really out of place.
It's funny because this is how I feel about the ending to AI.
What?
I said it's funny because this is how I feel about the ending to AI. And that's what we were talking about earlier.
Right. Or Chaos says that ending ruins the book, like Stephen King going, poof, aliens. Yeah. And then he goes, sounds like they were watching the movie 2012 and reenacted the ending in a disturbing way, completely out of context. Yeah, it does kind of sort of feel like that, where, you know, people make a lot of jokes about like Deus Ex Machinas in books. You know, the machine from God or God's machine. Like, this is literally a random act of God to conclude a book. Right? It feels like, okay, what needs to happen is an ending. So I'm going to use my Deus Ex Machina to create an ending. You know what I mean?
But you love the high wind scene in Deadpool 2.
Completely different sort of circumstances.
I don't know. Sounds like we're in the same territory to me.
But that's not how Deadpool 2 ends.
I'd love it if it was. If it had exactly word for word the same ending to Some Hell. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, I would laugh. Like, I don't know if a lot of other people would get it, but so, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I did think it was a well crafted book. You know, it was like all the. It was like every.
I just spent the last however long talking about the ending, spoiling it, and talking about how much I didn't like it for the book written by the person we know who might listen.
No, okay. It's like if every brick had been painstakingly handcrafted to be perfect with perfect 90-degree angles and to build like a pyramid, but at the very top they made it a sphere. Like, that's how it feels. It's like
that sounds pretty kick-ass.
Sure.
No, okay. I know what you're saying. We've all had those endings where you're just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from?
And so this is where I'm going to be a little speculative, okay? I really feel like there is a certain opinion that goes around the literary world among authors and readers and critics about the legitimacy of non-sad endings.
I'm just saying, by the way, I've nothing to do with this. If you end up listening to this, Patrick, I played no part in it. I'm not part of this hatchet piece.
Because he didn't read it. Boom! He didn't even take the time to read it.
In my defense, I started reading it, and I actually really enjoyed what I read. And then I made the mistake of putting it down, and I just don't read as much as I used to. Yeah. And I never got around to finishing it. I feel very bad. about that. But I really liked what I read. I found it.
Mhm.
I'm not gay. That's not relevant really, but like you were saying that you couldn't relate to it. I actually found what I read incredibly relatable, and I do keep meaning to go back to finish it. I don't need to now because you've destroyed it for me with your hatchet, your skullduggery.
You told me to.
Well, I didn't say go destroy it and be mean.
I'm not being mean.
I know. I'm just finding out. It's fine.
So, but no.
Why'd you want to hurt our friend Patrick?
Well, you know, it's what we do.
Is it? Is that how you see friendship, Jonathan?
Well, it's our friendship.
Well, yeah, but I hate you.
Okay, it says sound like they had a deadline from a publisher and then they phoned the ending in, possibly by another writer who was lazy, otherwise had malicious intent. No, I don't agree with that at all. If I'm going to theorize about it, I think that this was an ending that existed in a previous version that was cherished. It was they Patrick really liked the ending and really hung on to it. Even if as the versions progressed, the book evolved into maybe not fitting it, he wanted to keep it. I get that. I fully understand that. I'm not a published writer myself. I do still write though, and there have been times where I'm like, okay, I had this idea of how I want something to end, and even if as I'm writing it, it no longer fits, I still try to wedge it in there. I understand that. I do. And I'm not even saying that's exactly what happened. That's just my best theory. Now, what I was going to say though earlier is what I think this actually speaks to, and this has nothing to do with Patrick. I think this does have everything to do with how some of the literary world acts about not believing that happy endings or non-tragic endings are legitimate. I definitely feel like there's this opinion out there that if something doesn't end tragically, it's not good. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but I feel like I can understand why reaching the ending and going, well, that just wasn't sad enough, and then going onward to make a sadder ending. I don't know. I'm getting tired.
So we can say the literary world really enjoys the last 5 sentences you've been saying? Because they all ended tragically. Did you get it? Because you trailed off.
Up what you're putting down.
Yay.
But no, that's just how I feel about the book. I think it's a well-written book, and there's a lot going for it. And especially for being the first novel published by Patrick, I think it's actually really, really good and 100% should be commended for it. My problems with...
I've just said nothing nice about it in the last...
No, in fact, I said repeatedly, I think it's incredibly well written. Shut up! You shut up, Owen!
I really liked what I read, is what I could say. Legitimately, I should say, because I think this is a really worthy clarification, and if Patrick hears this, I want him to know. I don't think he will. I don't think he likes our show. Because he's got...
I don't like our show half the time.
He's got taste in who would. But just to say, the reason I didn't read it... finish reading it, I should say. I read a good chunk of it. It is just because, I'm actually really out of the habit with reading these days. Specifically, I have some issues with concentration, and I find it very difficult to get through books the way I used to. And so when I put them down, I'm also mildly OCD, and I've always had this issue with books, which is if I stop reading them for long enough, I am compulsively required to start them again from the beginning, which means I don't finish as many books as I used to. It's part of a lot of lovely anxiety and mental health issues and things like that. What I will say is the reason I didn't finish the book is just because of that, and not because I didn't like it. I actually really liked it, and what I did read of it is actually one of my most enjoyed books I've read. And the reason I actually let John have this conversation and tell me the ending was I was really worried I wouldn't actually get it finished at all because of this kind of weird state I've been in with it. And yeah, but it is a really terrific book, and I am actually still going to read it. What I read, I really liked. Though I might not enjoy the ending, I don't know. I'm going to try and go in blind. Even though I already know. I'm going to try and put myself in the state of going in blind. But, yeah. I didn't want people to think I hadn't read it because I hadn't enjoyed it. That was just something I wanted to say. Because that was not the case. I read it. What I read, I really loved. Still with us, John? Is the stream gone again? No, the stream's still here. Oh, we lost John this time. Alright, well, I'll tell you what. This seems like a good opportunity to say, let's finish the show. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you had a good time. Please do check out my good friend John, who you can find on Twitter at JohnCPerson, or johncperson.wordpress.com is his blog. Awesome videos that he does here on this channel here, and subscribe to him. You can check out me by going to youtube.com/Owen Adams, which is my YouTube channel where I do streams and things. And we'll be back next week where we're probably going to be doing it this way again, but we're going to try and get more segments and things going. And it was a good show this week, I thought. We mostly did well. I think what we'll try next time is see if we can get around the whole thing where occasionally we lose John, because that's not very helpful. And, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. You're all very wonderful. And I'll see you all next week. And John will see you all next week, too, probably. Bye-bye.